Hey up everyone, and welcome back to another video. And yeah, I know it's been a while. I've just been that bogged down with Christmas commissions. I've just not had time at all to do any videos for YouTube. So now I've got mad Christmas rush out of the way, I can get back to doing a few other things as well. So I thought I might as well get on with getting a new video out for YouTube. So this is a painting that I did a few months ago. I've already done a video on this painting, just featuring the nearest collie for a fur tutorial, but I thought I'd post the full thing in this video. It's A2 size, which is 16.5 inches by 23.4 inches for them in USA, and it's been painted in acrylic on Fabriano Artistico hot press, £300 weight. And most of the supplies that I'm using will be listed in description, but the Fabriano isn't, because you don't get it sold on Amazon, not the one that I use anyway. I don't think it's the weight that I use that you get on Amazon. The owners were running an agility show that I were attending, so we took the dogs onto exercise area and I were able to take photos of all three of them. And it were actually the same show the following year, this year, when I actually handed this painting over to them, and it had quite a scary story attached to it. Basically, I took the painting in a large box what the actual paper comes in, so it's a large, like thin sort of box that the sheets of paper come in from Jackson's Art, and I used it to deliver the painting to them. And the female owner who had the painting done, she was on her own when I presented it to her, and her husband were busy off doing something else, so he didn't see it at time or the box that it was in, so she went and put it in a safe place. And then when the show were done and they were clearing away and putting all rubbish in skips, he's put this painting in the skip to be taken away as rubbish, because he didn't know what were inside box. And she's already driven home, which is a long way away from where the show is taking place, you know, a few hours away. So she's already driven home, and then she's found out that the painting is not there, and basically it's in the skip. Her husband's admitted he's put it in the skip thinking it's rubbish. So luckily some of the other people that were also running the show were still on site, and she's had to ring them, and one of them has managed to run across to skip and rescue it out at skip before the dustbin lorry basically came and took the skips away. So and plus they were also lucky that it didn't rain, because they did have some quite nasty weather whilst I was there that Saturday. So luckily it didn't rain whilst it was in the skip, although it were wrapped in some cellophane, I think it were. But yeah, it were lucky it didn't rain, and it were lucky that they realised and managed to get the painting out at skip before it were taken away. So yeah, it were a bit of an airy moment, but the painting was saved, thankfully. No thanks to the husband. But yeah, I think she were a little bit angry with him. But yeah, a little bit of a scary story, and I didn't find this out until a while afterwards. I was told about it, and I was just gasping. I thought, oh, I mean, even though I'd been paid for it and everything, it would have been an absolute nightmare if I'd have found out that it had been taken away and put in landfill or something like that. So yeah, it's very lucky story for this painting. And there's not really much else I know what to even say about what happened. So, but yeah, we're all just thankful that it were realised what had been done in time, so for it to be rescued. So it's all nice and safe and framed up on the wall now. And to be honest, I'm glad that I didn't know about it as it were happening, because I would have been beside myself. I'm glad that it were a few weeks later when I found out about it. And it was one of the other people running show that told me about it when I saw her at another show. And I remember telling her that I'm glad that I didn't know about it at the time, because I would have been seriously fretting. So yeah, I'm just glad that everything were all sorted and it was safe. Bit time that I even found out what had happened. So this dog is called Puffin and he's a blue male tri, but you can't see much male going on here because he's got quite extensive tan points that cover a lot of his face. And I did do a fur tutorial that shows how I painted the fur trim that goes around the front of his neck and up to the sides of his face there. And I'll link to that above if you want to have a look at that. You can see he's still got a couple of little pink patches on his nose as well. It's quite common for males to take a long time for pigment to spread on the nose. I had a male that when she came to me as a 12-week-old pup, she still mostly had a pink nose, and it took nearly 2 years for it to fully turn black. It just came gradually, and I think it were quickest spread during summer when there were more sunshine, and then it would slow down during winter, because I remember going through old photos of her over that period and looking at her nose, and I kept cropping the nose out of all these photos and put them together to show how the pigment spread over time, and it seemed to slow down during winter and then speed up during summer until it was fully black. But she actually got a lot of pigment spread everywhere, and she turned almost black and white as she got older anyway. She lost most of her male colouring. Most males look obviously male throughout their life, even though they get darker to a degree, but she just nearly lost it all, and just people used to just assume she were a black and white that got a bit of old age grey at times. She were an old dog, but she weren't. It were just a little bit of male that were left. So now we've moved on to Hippie, and she's another tri-male. You can see a little bit more male going on this one. And when I photographed her, she was still basically a pup, so she still looks quite puppy-like, you know, in the painting itself. So, but that's just the age she were at when I took the photos of her. And she's got quite a lot of tan like Puffin, but her tan points are a little bit less expressed, so you can see some male coloration like within the actual tan itself. The 3 dogs in this painting are just a few of the dogs that the owners have got. They've got a number of other collies, mostly blue males because they've got a thing for males, and I think they've also got a powder puff Chinese crested, the ones that have got the full coats as opposed to the ones that are, you know, mostly bare apart from some fur on the heads and the feet and the tails. So yeah, there is a big gang of them overall. It were just these 3 that they decided to have done in a painting. Although I have done a drawing of the Chinese crested a couple of years ago, just a small charcoal drawing, which I obviously didn't film, so it's not on my YouTube channel anywhere. Maybe one day I'll be able to include a Chinese crested onto my YouTube channel as well. But they're not such a commonly owned breed, so the chances of getting one a commission is a little bit less than like collies and spaniels, for example. Speaking of which, I'm working on a couple of collie pups. Well, I've got on my second collie pup for acrylic paintings, and then I've got another collie, and I have got a spaniel montage coming up as well, so that should be quite interesting. But not as many people have been ordering acrylic paintings these days. It's nearly all charcoal drawings now. So if people stop ordering acrylic paintings, then I may as well start using painting time to start painting stuff for myself and things for YouTube channel and Patreon when I finally get it launched, which means I might be able to start painting other stuff that's a little bit different, maybe some wildlife and other kinds of animals than just dogs, and maybe some other dog breeds than just collies. But anyway, we'll just have to see how things pan out. There's an habit for somebody to come along and order a painting when I'm just about to get near to end of my waiting list, and it just keeps sort of going on like that, so we'll just have to see what comes. So over to Last Dog Voodoo, and Voodoo doesn't have any tan points like the other two, so it's just blue male colouring and then white markings. Also a lot more tongue lolloping out on this one. I tend to find that tongues do take a lot longer to do, to make them look right. They tend to look good when they're done, but they do take longer to do to get the, especially in acrylic with the way that it works, and it's not the easiest to blend and what have you. So I do find that tongues can be a little bit time consuming and take longer than a closed mouth or a mouth that's only a little bit open. You'll notice me head get a little bit in way on this one, and it's because it's a bigger painting and lack of space and angles and what have you in my drawing area and painting area is not the best, and trying to get the camera in right spot where it's not too much to one side where, you know, it's just gonna be all flattened and skewed and not really be able to see what I'm painting, but also, you know, not too much in front of painting where I'm just going to be getting in its way. So it's trying to find that balance, and it's easier on the left side of painting, which is nearer to camera, but once you get over to other side of a large painting, it can get a little bit more challenging. I've just not really got any space behind me either to be able to have a tripod or any other kind of equipment that can hold a camera in a proper place. I've got a tripod sort of tottering there, and it's really sort of vying for space with everything else that's behind my chair, between my chair and wall, that is. And this is why I don't do general like artist vlogs and what have you, because it's when you watch other people's, they've all got a nice area that they can show off, you know, in the vlogs and what have you, whereas mine's just like a really disorganised little corner of a room where I'm just trying to do my best, and it's just not something that you really want to be showing off to everybody else on your YouTube channel, to be fair. So I hope to get some more videos up quite soon after this one as well, now that I'm not in a rush with Christmas commissions anymore. I've not had much chance to do any filming of charcoal drawings for a while, but I did find an old one from last year that I've not put up for some reason. It's a footage of the 4 goats looking over a fence that I did about just over a year ago, I think, that I did that. And footage is still sitting there, so I may as well make a video out of that. And the next acrylic painting that I'll be doing a video of is a black Labrador. And it will be the first acrylic Labrador on my channel. I've done a few charcoal ones, but this will be the first acrylic one that's on this channel, so something to look forward to. I might make a tutorial out of it, so if there's anything about a black Labrador that you might want to see a tutorial of, then let me know and I'll look into it. And if there's any other areas of this painting that you want to see a tutorial on, just let me know in comments and I'll see about that as well. So I'm coming to end of Voodoo now, and the only thing I did after this were airbrush the bases of each bust so that they blend into the background nice and don't look so abrupt and chopped off at body, so to speak. I don't generally bother filming airbrushing bit because it's such a pain to film that, with me having to keep coming back and putting another layer on and stopping and starting a camera. But you can see the difference it makes to base at busts anyway, as I paint my signature on, and I'm absolutely useless at painting my signature. But that's the painting done and the funny little scary story behind it, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it in progress, and I'll leave it at that now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.